she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your marionettes and she'll match him up. Call on Dolly if your eldest daughter needs a friend. Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your marionettes and she'll match him up. Call on
Dolly Levi. That's right, Mrs. Dolly Levi. Born Gallagher. Social introductions. Ladies and gentlemen of excellent family introduced under the most respectable conditions in an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Object, matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning service today as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Van de Gelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband, Efren Levi, always said, that means he's got at least 60,000 cash. But I'll do my best to have you carried across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention that I'm available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short distance hauling, and varicose veins reduced.
Call on Dolly. She's the one that sisters recommend. Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your marionette and she'll match him up. Call on Dolly.
Mrs. Levi.
Mr. Kemper, the artist. You know, I'm something of an artist myself. I do those silhouettes with the scissors and the black paper. Why, here's one of Adrian looking the other way. I have to do them like that because I'm no good at noses.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes if we don't get there on time.
But we will, Mr. Kemper. And not only will Horace Van de Gelder give you permission to marry his niece, Ermengarde, but he will also dance at your wedding. And not alone, either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife himself. What he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband, Mr. Levi, always said, marriage is a bribe to make the housekeeper think she's the householder.
I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Half of New York City is going to propose to Miss Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is exactly why I'm on my way to Yonkers this morning, Mr. Kemper, and can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone. Whatever I'll throw, I'll see. Well, what do you think of that? I have nothing here to pay my train fare with. Only large bills, 5s and 7s.
I've got some change here somewhere. I hope this isn't a wild goose chase.
Oh, and speaking of poultry, I am also available for fresh Jersey eggs, surgical corsets reboned, ears pierced, replugged.
Mrs. Levi!
Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your marionettes and she'll match him up. Call on Dolly.
Sorry, Mrs. Levi. What's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meddle. I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lies. When a man with a timid tongue meets a girl with a diffident air, why should the tortured creatures beat around the bush when heaven knows Mother Nature only needs a little push? I put my hand in here, I put my hand in there, and a girl over 6'3" loves a man who comes up to her ear. Surely it's obvious she'll never be seduced till some kind soul condescends to give her beau a little boost. I put my hand in here. my hand in there. I have always been a woman who arranges things. It's my duty to assist the Lord above. I have always been a woman who arranges things like luncheon parties, poker games, and love. My alarm at cosmetic art turned up from to a Trump lady there. She had a countenance a little bit like Scrooge, but oh today it would swear the Lord himself applied the ruse. I put my hand in here. I put my hand in here. I twist a little, stir a little, him a little, her a little, shape a little, mold a little, some parts that get sold a little. When I use my fist a little, some young bride gets kissed a little, pressure with the thumbs. Matrimony comes when I put my hand in there.
Mrs. Levi!
Oh, I know, Mr. Kent, but the office train is ready to leave. Now you go buy our tickets, get a window seat, order lunch, and I'll meet you on board. I'm going to marry Horace Granville. All his money. Instantly circulating among the people like rainwater the way you taught me. And I want a sign from you sometime today that you approve. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I will certainly make him happy. And I'm tired of him. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth. So I want that sign.
Mrs. Levi!
Sometime today. Now don't you worry, Mr. Kemper. We'll make that train. We'll get to Yonkers and you'll marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me. For when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles. Then I make my knuckles active. Ma, he says she's so attractive. Then I use my index digit and they both begin to visit. Then I clench my palm. The preacher reads the psalm when my hand is
Damn! How can I be expected to play Yonkers, my Yonkers with all that bellowing in my ears?
I can't help it, Uncle. I love Ambrose Kemper.
And I say you're too young to be in love with anybody. Here, take this.
I'm not too young. I'm 17. And in another year, I'll be an old maid.
Well, I forbid it. Dare to be an old maid, God, and I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry in front of the store. It's bad for business.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Well, in my thunder, you'll go and weep for a while in New York where it won't be noticed. No, get upstairs and start packing your trunk, and don't get any tears on the lock. It was just oil. Cornelius, Barnaby.
You stamped, Mr. Van de Gelder.
I did. I got news for you. Boom! I'm going to New York today to march in the 14th Street Association Parade. And when I come back, you're going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Van de Gelder.
mean, I'm planning on getting married again. And in honor of that occasion, I've decided to promote you, Cornelius, to chief clerk.
But what am I now, Mr. Van der Gelder?
You're an impertinent fool, that's what you are! And I'm promoting you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes!
What?
Does the chief clerk get 1 evening off a week?
So, that's the way you thank me for your promotion, is it? No, sir, you'll attend to the store as usual. Now get back to work, all of you. And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings off. Marrying artists. Foolishness. 99% of the people in this world are fools. And the rest of us are in great danger of contamination. Well, even I was once young, which was foolish. And I got married, which was foolish. And was poor, which was more foolish than anything else. Then my wife died, which was foolish of her. I grew older, which was sensible of me. And became rich, friendless in me. Which, in America, is about as far as you can go. Now, I know what you're all wondering now. Well, why a man of so much good sense should be planning anything as foolish as getting married again? Oh, well, the answer is simple. This house, without a woman, would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman, all potted and pink, to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes a female with long golden lashes and soft-dressed fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart of distress so white. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. Ah! That frail young maiden who's constantly there for watching and bluing and chewing the mare. And it takes a female for setting the table and weaning the guernsey and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart of mistress so white. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity. 3 cheers for femininity. Rah, 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 F-E-M-I-T-Y. Get out of here! And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and joyously set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking? To that dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, naughty woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart of mistress so white. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. All right, get out of here, all of you! Get out!
Congratulations, congratulations, 1,000 congratulations.
What?
Congratulations, Mr. Van der Gelder. All of New York is buzzing with the news that you practically proposed to Irene. Malloy. The streets are lined with eligible young ladies prostrate with grief. All my congratulations and sympathy.
Sympathy?
Did I say that? Oh, it was a slip of the tongue, that's all. No, actually, I'm very delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. By that, I mean, well, you know what people said, although I, for one, never believed the rumors. No, I didn't.
Rumors? What rumors?
Nothing to get upset about, Mr. Van de Gelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed on quite naturally. It's just that he went so sudden. You know, a few spoons of the chowder she made special for him and... Oh, but it could happen to anyone. No, there's no truth in it, Mr. Van de Gelder. Just one word of advice. Eat out.
Now look here, Dolly, you mean to tell me that Mrs. Malloy...
Oh, I mean to say nothing, Mr. Van de Gelder. Just friendly advice. Keep away from the chowder. By the way, she's ordered her wedding gown. Oh, it's beautiful. You should see it. Black. Well, as I said before, Mr. Van de Gelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may guardian angels watch over you both. Particularly at dinner.
Now look here, Dolly. You introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or not, I intend on calling on her this afternoon, as arranged.
Very well, then there's nothing more for me to do but go back to New York and tell the other girl, the heiress, not to wait.
What did you say?
Nothing. A word. Heiress.
Particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name.
Her name? Money. Ernestina Money.
What a lovely, lovely name.
Picture, if you will, hair as shiny as a newly minted dime. Eyes as big round as silver dollars. And skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
I can feel her now.
Age 19. Weight 102. Waist 47.
The waist 47?
That's with the money belt. Now, I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
Oh, I ain't got time, Mrs. Levi. I gotta go to New York, take my niece Ermengarde till she forgets about a certain Ambrose Kemper.
Well, I could do that for you, Mr. Van de Gelder. I know just how to handle such things.
Well, then I'm marching in the 14th Street Parade.
What an amazing coincidence. Why, guess who's been chosen to ride on the main float? The spirit of 14th Street. Miss Money. Her mother was a cash, you know.
All right, Mrs. Levi. I'll meet Miss Money at the parade, but I still intend on calling on Mrs. Malloy first.
Oh, dear, what races you make me run. Very well, Mr. Van de Gelder. I'll meet you on that bench in front of Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
Now, wait a minute. Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy, and I don't like Miss Money neither.
Well, then, I happen to have one more name on my list. A name I know as well as my own. But let's not go into that right now. It'll come up in all good time. Don't you worry about that. Oh, but wait till you see Ernestina, Horace. A vision. A dream.
It takes a woman all potted in pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes a female with long golden lashes and soft rested fingers for dumping.
Yes, it takes a woman. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yes, it takes a woman. You know what, I think I'll have this room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue. Ermengarde, Ambrose, come on out here. We've got plans to make.
Oh, chief clerk, chief clerk, chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good, in 10 years, I'll be promoted again to chief clerk. Oh, I'm 33 years old and I still never get an evening free. When am I going to begin to live?
You can live on holidays, Cornelius.
Oh, do you remember what we did last Christmas? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded, and you and I cleaned up that mess all afternoon. Do you call that living?
No.
Barnaby, you and I are going to New York.
You mean close the store? Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
Holy cabooses! How do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them, that's how I know. They'll make such a smell, customers won't be able to come into the place for 24 hours. That'll get us an evening off. We're going to New York, Barnaby, and we're going to live. We're gonna have a good meal. We're gonna spend our money. We're gonna be in danger. We're gonna be arrested.
Holy cabooses!
And one more thing. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
Well, I'm 33 years old. I have to begin sometime.
Well, I'm only 17, Cornelius. It isn't so urgent for me.
Oh, New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains. The lights of Broadway. The stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
A stuffed whale?
A stuffed whale! What do you say, Barnaby?
Yes, Cornelius, yes!
Now, the first thing to do is to make you financially independent. I know, I'll find you a job. Can you dance?
I'm an artist, Mrs. Levi. I paint.
Well, then my card.
This is Dolly Levi. Painters taught how to dance.
Now, there's a man, Rudolph Reisweb, at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. But I'll give you a noteworm and we'll see if he can't have you both enter the poker contest tonight. The prize for the week's engagement and a solid gold cup. Oh, the cups we won at the meeting.
Oh, hold on right there, Mrs. Levi. No fiancé of mine's gonna set foot in a cafe. And I must say I'm surprised to say that you've got acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemper. Friends. Dear friends from days gone by. My late husband, Edwin Levi, believed in life. In any place you could find it. Cafes, ballrooms, yes, even theaters. Why, even when times were bad, every Saturday night like clockwork down those stairs at the Harmonia Gardens we came. After me.
It's all very well to come down like clockwork, but you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
It's the only way to show Horace Vandergeld that we mean business. Now, you go to the Harmonia Gardens this afternoon and say that Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, tell Rudolph that Dolly's coming back and I want a table for two and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight.
The bottom row looks all right, Cornelius. Now get the ones on top. Not too close now. Swelled up like they're ready to bust.
Let's get Let's get dressed, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Out there, there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there beyond this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby. Out there, full of shine and full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Barnaby. Listen, Barnaby. Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliant teen and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night when the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes. We're gonna ride through town in one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows of Delmonico's and we'll close the town in a whirl. And we won't come home until we've kissed a girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. So down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you'll always
it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandergelder?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I wasn't going to ask you that. I would rather die on the raft than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I'm marrying Horace Vandergelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get away from the millinery business. I hate hats.
Mrs. Malloy!
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Mrs. Malloy!
Now don't protest, Minnie. All millinerists are suspected of being wicked women. That's why we can't go into ballrooms or restaurants or theaters. That's all the proof they'd need. Take it from me, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder or I break out of this place like a fire extinguisher. Oh no, not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie. Leave it be. You can make another hat for Miss Mortimer if you like. I'm wearing this one myself.
Mrs. Malloy, you can't! You're a widow, and that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what it is!
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may walk into the shop today? And provocative may be just what I want to be.
Mrs. Malloy!
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer. Blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by. And so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July. Because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. And he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair, that he might notice me. That he might notice me.
Mrs. Malloy, wild horses couldn't make me ask this next question I ought to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Do you love Horace Vandergelder?
No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love. And I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman if it's true love. And that it was. Look, Minnie, there are two men staring at the shop. Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Mrs. Malloy, what shall we
do with now. We'll get them all heated up, then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Now you go on into the workroom. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. So I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
Oh, Barnaby, we'll get an adventure out of this yet. All day long, we walk around New York and nothing happens. And then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly... Is he still out there? Go look.
He's sitting out there on that bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
Oh, you don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it all right. How much money have you got left?
Not much, Cornelius. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents, why?
Well, you see, when those two women come back, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. And then we won't have to spend anything. We're just two men about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, you see, we're two ladies about town looking for some hats to Malloy, and we were wondering if...
We're hats, you see, looking for a couple of ladies to Malloy.
We want a hat. For a lady, of course, and everybody said to go to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. Well, I mean, her hats are so pretty.
And reasonable as under $1 would leave us enough to see the whale.
Oh, you gotta pay him no mind, ma'am. He's just come all the way from Yonkers to see the whale, and he's all excited. Keep an eye on that street, Barnaby, and maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with green little red eyes?
Yes.
Sitting right there in that bench.
Excuse me, Mr. Hackle, but did you say Yonkers?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And pardon me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. And by that, I mean perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow! That's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. I mean, on you, of course, not on Mr. Malloy, may he rest in peace. You're a Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, I was wondering if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I'd be more than happy to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I may be in Yonkers sooner than you think.
Really?
Yes, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
You might know him.
Maybe we do.
Oh, it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Horace Vandergelder?
Vandergelder's hay and feed?
Yes, do you know him?
No!
Mr. Vandergelder's a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
I think, look out!
Oh, begging your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Please help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain later.
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
Well, really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist that you both come out of there this minute or I'll be forced to... Mr. Vandergelder!
Mrs. Malloy. I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She's supposed to meet me on that park bench 10 minutes ago. Now she can just come looking for me. When I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Oh, here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. Well, that's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder? Well, what would men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Now, let's go back into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, now what's new in Yonkers? I hear it's a beautiful city.
And who has been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see,
He?
a customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. He was in here buying hats for ladies, and, well, you might know him. Although it's always silly to ask in cases like that. It's a Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
Well, he happens to be my head clerk, that's all. Mrs. Malloy. I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. Why, he's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's even at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35 and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built a canal.
What canal?
The Erie.
It ain't the same man.
Why, who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the 5th Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's? Oh, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I can see you were taken with him just like everybody else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only met him once. Dolly, what are you...
Excuse me. Of course.
Now look here, if there's a man in that closet!
No, Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside!
No man indeed. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Ooh, those muscles. I can see them now, rippling back and forth beneath your coat. Rip, rip, rip. Back and forth. Rip, rip, rip.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, stand aside.
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the courts will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and our hot lunch, the orphan. Take off your hats, sir. Fancy Robert's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg? See that great triumphal arch? If you see him as he's tramping through the grates of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here at 14 years of age as a poor immigrant child from a land that oppressed my people. And I must echo here what was said by that great and patriotic American.
God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy.
All right, Mr. Vandergelder. There is a man in that closet. And another under the table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a very simple explanation. But for the present, good afternoon.
Oh, good Lord, the whole room is crowded with men. I'll never get over it. I'll take it I'll see you later this afternoon, Mr. Vandergelder.
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi, with a certain lady on the main float at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
What you do? I'm sorry. That was so brilliant.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything.
I do not wish to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I'll be forced to send for Officer Gogarty.
Well, if you ask me, Irene, calling an officer is letting them off too easy. The law courts, that's where they belong. I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and believe me, you've got grounds enough for at least 2 writs, a non-corpus mentis, and a garnishee. Now, the main thing to do is to show that you tried to settle it amicably at first. Well, have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Dolly, is that absolutely necessary?
That's the way things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be, Mr. Hackle, you and Mr. Tucker may escort Miss Fay and I to dinner.
Oh, delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. Now, I hear there's a very nice restaurant in the railway station.
Oh, no. If the Harmonia Gardens restaurant is good enough for your fashionable friends, it's good enough for us.
Oh, we couldn't go there, Mrs. Malloy. It's not the money or anything. It's the whale. Yeah, it's the whale. No, Barnaby, it's not the whale. It's the dancing. You see, in places like that, they have dancing, exhibitions, even contests, and I don't know how, and it would take me weeks, months, years to learn. Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerks, taught how to dance.
Now, it's very simple, Mr. Hackle. You put one on here and one on here.
Oh, it's no use, Mrs. Levi. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. You just give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hackle, and I'll have you dancing in the streets. We'll start with lesson 7. The waltz take turns. Now, it's very simple. Ready? Right foot touch, left foot touch. Under, back, around, touch. Back, through, around, behind, out. Oh. Release,
I am released.
unfurl. Oh, that is wonderful, Mr. Hackle. When I think of all the lucky women who will find heaven in your arms, let's go back to lesson 1, shall we? Put your hand on her waist and stand. With her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! I'm dancing! Well, I was!
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle.
Take the someone
On your ear.
hold on to
Her tight and stiff. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wow! I'm dancing!
Turn around and turn around, strike through the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
The word I think I'd use is athletic.
Well, my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop? Look, everybody, Cornelius Hackle, sports, am dancing.
You're next, Mr. Tucker. Glide and step and then step and glide.
And everyone, stand aside.
Look, he's dancing.
You could learn to polka if you worked a week or so. All the tango filled with passion seething.
I might join chorus, the castle, then show.
Well, whatever you do, for God's sakes, keep breathing.
Well, my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop?
Come on, everybody, let's go down to the street.
there's someone you hardly know, and wish you were closer to. Remember that he can be near to you while you're dancing. Only just say hello.
And now that we're dancing, who cares if
we ever stop? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop?
Well, look who's here. Mrs. Levi. How are you, Mrs. Levi?
How are you, Mrs. Rose?
The same. Pains in my back, aches in my sides, and scrapes in my liver. I'm fine. My daughter Fanny got married, you know.
Did she?
A year ago, last September. It's been a long time since you've lived here, Mrs. Levi. Such a long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It's been long enough, Ephraim. Every evening, for all these years, I've put out the cat. I locked the door. I made myself just a little room tidy. And before I went to bed, I said a prayer, thanking God that I was independent, that no one else's life was mixed up in mine. And then one night, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I placed it there when you asked me to marry you, Ephraim. It was a perfectly good oak leaf, but without
she's beautiful. Everything you said and more. Hold on, Miss Money. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Hey. What are you doing? Hey! Hey, put that back, you! Oh. Stop! See? Pickpocket! Oh, put that back! I paid for that girl and I want all the parts! Miss Money, what have they done to you? Dolly, what is the meaning of this?
Nothing to get upset about, Horace. It's a last-minute substitution. Miss Money had a sudden urgent business appointment at the Mint. They ran a little short, and she's helping out. But she'll meet you at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant at 8 o'clock tonight.
Well, that's the most expensive restaurant in the city.
And, well, it should be. Oh, what food, and the fastest waiters in New York. By the way, I might be a little late, so Miss Money will meet you in front of the restaurant. Oh, wait till you see her, Horace. All in buttercup yellow with a baby pink flounce and humming an old-fashioned tune. Yes, sweet Rosie O'Grady. You couldn't miss her if you tried.
All right, Dolly. I'll meet Miss Money at the restaurant, but only because I paid for the introduction already and I may as well get my money's worth. But from this point on, you're hereby discharged as my marriage broker. Is that clear? From now on, Dolly Levi, you're just a woman like anyone else. Hey, where are you going? Oh, put me back. Hey, you, what's your name? Hey!
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me an old baton. Before the parade passes by.
Oh, Cornelius, it's sweet of you to let us watch the lights of 14th Street these past 4 hours. But perhaps now you'd better call a hack or we won't make it to the Harmonia Gardens on time. Oh, there's one. Yoo-hoo!
Oh, no. It's not the money or anything. It's just that nowadays, really elegant people never take hacks. Hacks is out. They all go by streetcar.
J.P. Vanderbilt, Diamonds in Morgan?
Then by all means, a streetcar.
Imagine, just think, I've been elegant all my life and never even knew it.
Of course. If you really want to be elegant,
We do.
you walk. Yes, New York, it's really a sport to be had. Cornelius,
All the guests of Mr. Hackle are feeling great and look spectacular.
what a knack there is to that, acting like a born aristocrat. We got elegance if you ain't got elegance. You can never ever carry it off. All who are well-bred agree Minnie Fay has pedigree.
Exercise your wildest whims tonight. We are out with diamond gems tonight.
Could they be misleading us?
Silver spoons were used to feed us. We've got elegance if you ain't got elegance. You can never ever carry it off. Middle class, don't speak of it, savoir-faire. We reek of it drapes and bows to us. We got elegance if you ain't got elegance. Have you noticed when I hold my cup, the saucer never moves?
And the way I keep my pinky up into the doubly proves.
We got elegance. We got built in elegance and with elegance. Elegance. We'll carry it all. Got elegance. You ain't got elegance. You can never, ever carry it off. We got elegance. We got
Elegance. Oh, look, Minnie. They're counting their money again. Isn't that just like the rich? Well, gentlemen, aren't you going to escort us in?
Oh, well, of course we are, Mrs. Malloy. Barnaby! Mrs. Malloy, I was wondering,
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
as we go inside,
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
may I put my arm around your waist?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. But I might as well warn you now. Of course it is a corset.
But I don't want to be on stage. I just want to get married.
Oh, you heard what Mrs. Levi said. This is the only way to show your uncle that we mean business. Now, can you weep a little bit faster? You throw me off step. Faster. That's it.
Sweet Rosie O'Grady, my sweet little Rose.
Well, there's my order. As head waiter of the Harmony Gardens and your supreme commander. And tonight, our ball night, our usual lightning service will be twice as lightning as ever. All health. I trust you'll find this table satisfactory, sir. The private dining rooms cost a bit more, but they do afford the best view of entertainment.
$1.40, Cornelius. That's all that's left.
Are you sure? Count it again.
Prepare yourself for a big night, Minnie. We're out with two of New York's best-known sports.
I did make a mistake, Cornelius. It's only $1.35.
This table is reserved for Mrs. Levi party.
And who do you think I am? Only it's Horace Vandergelden party. She's in my party, I ain't in hers.
Mr. Vandergeld, of course. Mrs. Levi mentioned nothing about you bringing your...
My personal physician. That's enough rouge, doctor.
But, sir, Mrs. Levi only ordered a chicken for 2.
Chicken? Chicken's a deal.
And pâté maison, soup de jour, and pomme soufflé.
Why didn't you tell me this was an Oriental establishment? Huh. We'll take 2 bowls of rice. Now get out. Now, Miss Money, I understand you carry respectable sums in your belt.
Yeah, $2. Only it's in my garter.
Oh, Cornelius, it's sweet of you to worry about our reputations, but Minnie and I don't care who sees us tonight. Well, Minnie, what have you decided?
Oh, I couldn't get anything at these prices. I really couldn't.
Great grindstones! What a sensible girl. Waiter, bring us 4 glasses of beer, a loaf of yesterday's bread, and some cheese.
Yesterday's bread? Oh, Cornelius, now I know how you keep half of New York in stitches all the time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant?
Pheasant!
Say, why the closed curtains? You ashamed or something?
Oh, no. It's not that. It's just I felt a slight chill.
Why didn't you say so? Here, I'll learn with this. Now, let's order something to hold us to the rice comes. Waiter? Would you bring a roast suckling pig with chestnut and oyster stuffing, cheese fondue, and some ladyfingers? Now, what do you have? Hey, you with the big ears, what are you doing after the show?
Oh, Cornelius, it's sweet of you to worry about our digestion, but I'm sure the pheasants are fresh. We'll take 4, please, and a nice red wine.
Wait a minute! No wine!
No wine?
Champagne!
Champagne!
It's once in a lifetime, Barnaby. Champagne and Neapolitan ice cream and hothouse peaches and Barnaby. Give the band leader a nickel and tell him to play To a Wild Rose. We want music while we dine.
Say, this is a cafe, isn't it? Let's dance.
The Vandergelders do not dance, Miss Money. We're Presbyterian.
All right, I'll dance myself. Give $2 to the band leader, will ya? And tell him to play something refined.
All right, Cornelius, I'll send for the band, but please don't order anything else.
You wait here, Miss Money. I'll tell them to play a nice waltz. Hey, you! Here, give this to the band leader. Tell him to play a waltz.
Here's a nickel for the band leader. Tell him to play out.
Miss Money!
And 2 more pheasants, please.
Cornelius,
My purse!
my wallet.
Hey, you, that's my purse. Oh, Miss Money, get off that table. You're dancing in the stew.
Excuse me, that's my wallet. I know it's mine because there's nothing in it but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies. Cornelius! Did he say 2 pheasants? 3, 4 pheasants for the house? I don't get to see that whale, I'll buy one a mile.
What's this? Shouting? How many times I told you not to shout, boy? It's the harmonic guns, not one of those.
But, sir, she's here. The lady.
What? Are you sure, boy?
Like you told me, sir. 8 o'clock on the nose. I'll pull the carriage. And I'll set the tall lady with red hair and the biggest handbag I ever saw.
Is she? Mr. Levi, she's back.
Rudolph, is it true? I heard somebody laughing outside the kitchen window. It sounded like...
It is. It's Dolly. Fritz, tells the band she's just out of the carriage.
Rudolph, it's true, no?
It's true, yeah. She's just out of a white and gold carriage pulled by 6 black horses with scarlet plumes.
It's like old times again, Rudolph.
Fritz.
Sir!
Nope.
Sir!
Guns and all.
She's here.
Hello, Harry. Well, hello, Louis. It's so nice to be back home where I belong. You're looking swell, Benny. I can tell, Danny. You're still glowing. You're still crowing. You're still going strong. I feel the room swaying for the bells playing one of my old favorite songs from way back when. So, Fritz, that cap fellas find me an empty lap. Fellas, Dolly will never go away again.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. Levi, what are you doing in that ghetto? And you're half an hour late. And I demand an explanation about...
Ernestina.
Exactly.
Ernestina, whom I trusted.
She wanted to do the hoochie coochie.
Well, she always was autistic. Horace, I'm going to have our table moved down front. There's someone in the dance competition I particularly want you to see. Now, don't let's say another word about it, as I'm as shocked as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
A chicken, like you asked. Right, now look here, Dolly, about that hoochie coochie girl.
Did you say a chicken? Oh, why don't they have a good face? A chicken, not tonight. Not after what's happened.
Good. Then cancel the chicken.
And bring a turkey.
What are you doing now?
Nothing, just looking the place over, getting acquainted with the surroundings.
You know, Dolly, that's the trouble with you. Always sticking your nose into other people's business. Always wanting to know everything that's going on. Anyone who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
What? What is that you're saying?
I said, anyone who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
Horace, band together, you get that idea right out of your head this minute. Well, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned such a thing. You understand once and for all that I have no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
Well, I certainly do hope not. Horace, band together, you go your way and I'll go mine. I am not some Irene Malloy, whose head can be turned by a few chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. Why, the idea of you even mentioning such a thing.
Dolly, you misunderstood me.
Well, I certainly do hope not. But if I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. However, we won't discuss it anymore. Kiss the waiter with our food. I'll serve Mr. Van de Gelder, Rudolph. Here's some white meat for you. And some dumplings. Ooh, lighter than air they are. Now, as I said before, Horace, you go your way and I'll go mine. Start right in on the wine. I'm sure you'll feel better at once. However, since you did bring the matter up, there's one more thing I think I ought to say.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
One more thing I think I ought to say before we forget all about it. It's true. I'm a woman who likes to know everything that's going on, who likes to manage things. But I wouldn't like to manage anything as out of control as your household. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
It's not out of control.
Very well, let's not say another word about it. Have some beets, Horace. They're good.
I don't like beets.
That's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. Well, you salt your beets and I'll salt mine.
Will you stop saying that?
I won't say another word.
Good.
Except this. At your age, Horace, you should enjoy hearing the honest truth.
No, my age. You're always talking about my age.
Well, I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers with bad food and bad temper that you'll double it in 6 months. Have some more beets, Horace. They're good.
I don't like beets. I hate beets.
That's good. Now dig right in. Yes, the pity of it is that you could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to.
I don't want to be charming.
Oh, but you are. Look at you now. You can't hide it. Now sit down, Horace, and let's talk of something else. But before we change the subject, there's one more thing I'm going to say.
I don't want to hear it. If it's to ask me to marry you, Dolly Levi, never, not in a million years.
Oh, I suppose that means you want me to ask you. Well, I'm sorry, Horace. I'm turning you down.
How can you turn me down when I haven't asked you anything?
It's no use arguing. I've made up your mind. Here, let me cut your wings.
I've got a headache. I'm going back to my hotel.
You can't go now. The competition's about to begin.
All right. Here's money to pay for the dinner. Here's $20. Wait a minute. There's only $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a button. This isn't my purse. I've lost my purse.
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
Barnaby, that purse you found.
I know, it's Vanderbilt. We gotta get out of here.
What am I going to do? They don't know me here. How am I going to pay for it? Stop eating that food. I can't pay for it.
Yes, look, it's the latest thing, a polka. Oh, and there's one dancer I particularly want you to see. Rudolph, move our table right down front so Mr. Vandergelder can better observe his graceful movement.
Wait a minute. That man, that dancer, I've seen that face.
Isn't he wonderful? With talent like that, you're sure to win the solid gold cup.
Come along now, Mrs. Malloy. It's been a perfectly wonderful evening, but now I'm afraid we're gonna have to cut it a bit. Excuse me, short.
Oh, but Cornelius, listen, they're playing a polka. I simply must have one dance.
Vanderbilt is right there. We gotta get out of here.
We will, but we'll dance our way out.
Cornelius Hagel.
Mr. Vandergelder.
Barnaby Tucker.
Is the Vandergelder?
I'm in God. Dolly Levi, this is your doing. What are you up to?
Mr. Vandergelder, I can explain everything.
I don't want to explain to you. Hagel, you're fired.
Arrest that man!
Me? Lying all the time. I don't understand this. What am I doing here?
Quiet! Quiet! There. That's better. Now, you're all charged with disturbing the peace, assault and battery, and inciting to riot, and many other serious violations of the law of this city. Is there anyone here to speak in your behalf? I said, is there anyone here to speak in your behalf? Miss Dolly Levi, counselor at law?
Your Honor. The defense rests. No, there's no need to call witnesses, ladies and gentlemen. When I see upon that bench a brow that gleams with honor and a pair of snow-white whiskers that bristle with fair play, And a nose. Oh, I ask you to look at that nose, ladies and gentlemen. A nose that shines in the night like a flaming beacon of justice. Would you mind turning this way a bit, Your Honor, so we can get a better look at your beacon? A living symbol of the motto of this great land. E proboscis unum. Your Honor, I ask for freedom for my clients and a verdict of guilty for the only real culprit. Horace Vandergelder of Yonkers, New York.
Dolly!
The one man responsible for these grievous charges of willful destruction of private property.
A Clinton, a waiter bruised, and a solid gold cup bent.
Cruelty to a poor, unfortunate minor. Mwah! Would you mind repeating that, dear? Mwah!
Begging your pardon, Mrs. Levi, but if it please the court, I have something to say.
Well, I was just about to call on you, Mr. Hackle. You go right ahead. You listen, he's good.
Now listen here, Hackle. You dare to testify against me, and I'll discharge you.
You've already done that, Mr. Vandergelder.
Well, I'll do it again.
You've done it again, too. But even if you hadn't, I'd still say what I have to say. Your Honor, I don't know anything about disturbing the peace or inciting to riots, but I do know that what happened to me today, which is the most important thing that can happen to any man, might never have happened if I had obeyed your orders and stayed in Yonkers, New York. And Your Honor, I am talking about none other than love.
You mean to tell me that after 33 years you fall in love after one day off?
Oh, no, Mr. Vandergelder. I didn't fall in love with Mrs. Irene Malloy of the city in just a day. An hour, even that's too long. What's less than a minute?
A second?
Less than that.
A moment.
That's it. Oh, I'll go slow so you can get it all down. It only takes a moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you will never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long. Oh, isn't the world just full of wonderful things? There I sat, cooped up in Yonkers for years and years, and all that time, beautiful people like Mrs. Malloy were walking around in New York, and I didn't know them at all. Oh, I don't know if you can see from where you're sitting, but for example, the way your eye and forehead and cheek come together right about here. Can you? Oh, I tell you now, a fine woman is the greatest work of God on earth. You can talk all you want to about Niagara Falls and the pyramids, but they aren't in it at all. Oh, of course, I've seen women before, but today I talked to one. And they're so different from men, and they're awfully mysterious, too. I'll bet you can know a woman 100 years without ever being sure if she really liked you or not. Oh, today I've lost so many things. My job, my future, everything that people think is important. But I don't care. Even if I have to be a ditch digger for the rest of my life. I'll be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day.
I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle.
Right after it only.
Takes a moment, but his arms will sure and strong. It only takes a moment.
He held me for an instant, but his arms felt safe and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long.
And that is all that love's about.
And we'll recall when time runs out
That it only took a moment to be loved a whole life long.
Dismissed. All dismissed. All except for you, Horace Vanderkelter of Yonkers, New York. All dismissed. And bless you, my children.
All right, Mrs. Levi. You can see the prisoner now.
Well, Horace, there's your life. Without meat, without bride, without clerk, and without your purse. It looks like there's only one more thing left to say.
I don't want to hear it. Just ask me to marry me, Mrs. Levi. Forget it. Never in a million years.
Oh, that wasn't it at all, Horace. All I wanted to say to you was...
What?
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, hey.
It's too late, Horace. I have failed. And when a woman fails, there's nothing else she can say.
Dolly.
But... Goodbye. 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 Don't try and stop me, Horace, please. Wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie. You ain't gonna see me anymore. But when you discover that your life is dreary, don't come a-knocking on my door. 'Cause I'll be all tied up and singing that song that says, you dog, I told you so. So wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, dearie, should have said so long ago. Because you treated me so rotten and wrong. Well, I've had enough of feeling low. So wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, dearie, should have said so long ago. For I can hear that you two calling me on to a fancy new address. Yes, I can hear that you two calling me on for that Happiness Express. I'm gonna learn to dance and drink and smoke a cigarette. I'm gone as far away from Yonkers as a girl can get. So, and on those cold winter nights, Horace, you can snuggle up to your cash register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. Don't come a-knocking, I'll be all dolled up and singing that song that says, you dog, I told you so. So,
you, Dolly Levi. Not in a million years. Not if you asked me a million times. I didn't need you before, I don't need you now. Dolly Levi, you go your way, I'll go mine.
You stamped, Mr. Vandergeld.
So it's you, is it, Mr. Hackle? Come crawling back, have you?
No, I just stopped by for my money. $146.35. You see, I've decided to go into business for myself. And since the only business I know is hay and feed, I'm opening my own store.
And Cornelius has found the perfect location, Mr. Vandergelder. Right across the street from your store.
So you think you can compete with Vandergelders, do ya? Well, you just try it. Oh. So it's another one come crawling, is it? What do you want?
My back salary for the past 3 months, $6.12.
You can't do this to me, any of you. I'll get caught. I'll get lawyers.
Why, Horace Vandergelder, as I live and breathe, if you aren't handsome in that outfit. So few men nowadays have the courage to wear tails in the daytime.
Dolly Gallagher.
Oh, I know just what you're going to say, Horace. You're not satisfied with Ernestina. Well, don't you worry about that, because I found you the ideal wife. But don't let me interrupt you. You were doing something. What were you doing?
We were getting Cornelius's money.
$146.35.
$6.12 of mine.
And the money my mama left me.
$58.32.
22!
32!
All right. If it's money you want, the safe is upstairs.
Money. Mr. Vandergelder's money. You know, it's like the sun we walk under. It can kill or it can cure. Vandergelder's never tired of saying that most people in the world are fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. Yes, we're all fools. And we're all in danger of destroying the world in our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm is to grant us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are our right in the world. And that takes a little money. Now, the difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight. And that can shatter the world, too. You know, it's all in how you use it. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always used to say, money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around, encouraging young things to grow. Anyhow, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder. Which reminds me, Ephraim, I'm ready for that time.
What are you waiting for? That goes upstairs.
Well, as I said before, Horace, I found you the ideal wife.
Dolly Gallagher, I don't want you to find me no ideal wives. If I want an ideal wife, I'll find one of my own. And I found her. And it's you. Damn it.
Why, Horace.
I know I've been a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman, but Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Now, Horace, stop right there.
What do you mean?
Well, you know as well as I do that you're the first citizen of Yonkers, and your wife would have to be a somebody. Answer me. Am I a somebody?
Well, you are. You're a wonderful woman.
Oh, you're partial. No, it won't be enough for you to load your wife with money and jewels, to insist that she'd be a benefactress to half the town. By the way, it's a bad business letting Cornelius open a store right across the street from you. You better take him back and let him be a partner.
Partner?
That way Barnaby can have Cornelius's old job.
Now, hold on a
That way we'll all be together so we can dance at Ermengarde's wedding.
Now, just wait a minute. Stop right there. I'll dance at no weddings. Besides, I don't even know how. It would take me weeks, months, years to... All right, I'll dance.
Horace, I never thought I'd hear you say a thing like that.
Mr. Vandergelder? That front room, idiot. Well, get going.
Horace, what's going on up there?
Ah, nothing. I just thought I'd have that room done over in blue wallpaper.
Horace.
No, I know the old wallpaper ain't worn out yet, but that guy's, he's new in business. He needs a good start. You see, Dolly, I've always felt that money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's...
Thank you, Ephraim.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you here where you belong. I never knew, Dolly. Without you, Dolly, life was awfully flat, and more than that was awfully wrong.
Here's my hat, Horace. I'm